Cadillac would not have survived the Great Depression without black people. Let's start from the beginning. In 1932, Nicholas Drystat, then in charge of Cadillac's nationwide service network, a middle management position at General Motors, decided to crash a meeting of GM's top executives. As the Great Depression deepened in 1932, Cadillac sales had dropped by 84%, and the meeting discussed the possibility of killing the brand. As he traveled around the United States visiting Cadillac dealers, Drystat noticed the phenomenon of affluent blacks getting their Cadillac cars serviced at those dealers. At the time, Cadillac, as well as most of the American automobile industry, had either formal or informal policies of not marketing or selling to black people. The cars getting serviced, though, were new and late model cars. Drystat looked into it and found out a couple of things. Cadillacs were popular with affluent blacks, who were restricted from buying other valuable assets and status symbols like nice homes in exclusive neighborhoods, and to buy Cadillacs, they were using white folks as paper buyers. Drystat suggested that Cadillac start marketing directly to blacks and to encourage their dealers to racially integrate their customer base. Cadillac and its dealers apparently started advertising in black newspapers like the Chicago Defender and New York's Amsterdam News. Drystat promised to turn the brand around in 18 months, but within a year, sales had already increased 70%, saving the brand. Drystat was appointed brand manager for Cadillac and did so well at that job that he was later made head of Chevrolet, GM's most important and largest division. Now, I want to make black Americans aware that we only make up 14% of the population, but are the biggest consumers.
Here is what sales psychologists have to say about selling to the Negro.
The secret of selling to the Negro is expressed in one word. That word is recognition. Now, there's nothing unusual about that. People want to be recognized. They need recognition. That's basic in all of us. But perhaps because he's had so little of it, the Negro needs even more. He needs to feel important and appreciated. This need is a very real and important one. It shows up even in many of the Negro's shopping habits. Anyone who sells or wants to sell to the Negro customer should know about some of these habits. 3 habits in particular play a big part in every sales transaction. To begin with, most Negroes buy by brand. They ask for products by name. They're quick to turn down off brands. Buying by brand, that's the first important Negro buying habit. Now for the second. The Negro buys good quality merchandise. Symbols of quality and prestige are very important to the Negro customer. This woman, for example, is buying fine crystalware, but she is also buying the admiration and approval of her friends and relatives. Listen to her thoughts.
My, isn't it beautiful? I can hardly wait to show it to Sally and Joan.
It's a well-known fact that many Negro customers are influenced by the opinions of others. What their friends may think of a certain item often decides whether or not the sale is made. So remember, the Negro buys quality merchandise. That's the second important point. And here's the third thing to remember when selling to a Negro customer. When he specifically asks for one thing, don't try to sell him something else. Don't try to switch him at the point of sale. If you do, he'll probably react something like this.
Doesn't he think I've got the money to pay for it?
The Negro resents being offered a substitute. He wants to be sold on quality, not price. The Negro buys by brand, he buys quality, and he doesn't like to be switched at point of sale. These are the keys to selling the Negro customer.